So anyways, Alex, I'm glad that we kind of talked a little bit more about, how things are going and what's going on. But unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because I'm kind of sad about it, this is our last session together. I've told you kind of through the process that at some point this will kind of come to an end once we feel together that we've, reached some of the goals that you set out for yourself, and you've obtained some of the tools that we've, developed together and stuff. So we've come to that time, and as sad as it is that we aren't going to have this time together, I'm really excited because I feel like when you first came in, there was kind of some hesitation about the process, and because you didn't really know where you were sitting and you didn't know if you could trust me, and I feel like we really built some really nice rapport and really gotten to know each other, and you've made some great progress on some goals that we've set up, and I absolutely feel that you are capable of continuing this process on your own and really setting new goals and reaching them. I think that this is something that you're really, really able to do. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about where we've started to where we are,
Well, I'm excited. I'm a little bummed, though, because I got used to coming here,
Sure.
and it's been really nice to be able to, just sit and talk to somebody, about some things that I really can't or have felt like I couldn't share with others, and so just being able to do that, I'm totally bummed about that, and
Sure.
but I've been able to open up more to my friends and to my parents to some degree,
Sure. Sure.
And my English teacher, she and I get along really, really well, so I know that they're going to continue to be there, and I felt like I've made a lot of progress too. I've been able to.
Good.
I feel like you've empowered me to make a lot of changes that I didn't think I was going to be able to make, because everything was just totally sucky.
Sure. And I think that's great. I'm glad. Let me say, I'm really glad that we kind of have the same outlook on this at this point. That you're feeling the confidence, and it sounds also like there's actually a sense of kind of relief. There was all of the stuff that you were dealing with and not feeling like you could deal with it, and then realizing that you're capable of doing these things. It sounds like that this is kind of relieving to you also. So I think that's definitely, as a social worker, one of my goals is to help provide some relief for people that I get to work with. So I'm really happy to hear about that. So I just want to kind of go over some of the things that we've worked on at this point and how you kind of reached those goals. So I know that we talked about very generally bringing up your grades and getting back involved in some kind of extracurricular things. We talked about the band, and unfortunately that didn't work out, but it sounds like you're doing really good on your own, and you're kind of talking to other people about building up another band, but you're really working on your music and stuff, and I think that's really wonderful. And especially, like you said, while you're not at a point in your life that you want to share your sexuality with your parents, you really started developing that relationship with them where you can talk to them, and your father especially, since there was some real struggles there. So I think that it's really great that we set these goals. Your grades are back up, you're getting involved in music even more, and especially, again, the relationship with your parents. I think that it's nice to see that you kind of reached those outlets. How do you feel about those goals and kind of where they're at and where you're working towards them now?
Well, yeah, I really enjoyed, I feel like John Lennon when he went out on his own. Yeah, I left the band, but I was able to start, my little garage band with some other friends of mine, some other girls of mine.
Yeah.
And we've been having a lot of fun with that. I even made, some new friends. And, so doing that and then writing music, you suggested that. I was a little weird. I was weirded out by that when you suggested I write music, and so I've been exploring with that, and it's been fun.
Good.
So that's been one of my favorite parts. And then also just getting the grades up to get my parents to be not mad at me.
Right.
Anymore.
Sure.
It's helped. So me and my dad have been watching TV together and playing some basketball together and just kind of chatting, and I'd like that. And of course my mom, she's always been there for me, so having that, I just felt very alone before, and I don't feel so alone now. So.
And I think that's wonderful. I think in feeling that loneliness, sometimes it makes everything else look that much harder sometimes than it really is. And so realizing that you have the support and that you have the capability to bring in more support, as you said, you're making new friends, and so you're building new relationships, and that really helps you feel like you have kind of someone to lean on when you need it. And I think I think it's wonderful, and I'm really excited for you, Alex. I think that it shows your strength and your perseverance to say, you know what, life got hard, but I'm just going to keep going. And I think that that's a great thing to take with you as you leave our sessions together and kind of continue on. Obviously, your goals have raised, but I know that last time we spoke, you still had I think it was your math grade that you were still kind of struggling with to get back up to where you wanted to go. How do you feel about where that's at and what you've gained through this process and maintaining that and getting it to the point that you want?
Well, I've never been a big fan of math and science. Yuck. But, it's not as hard as I guess before I thought it was maybe just because I wasn't paying attention or I thought it was lame or whatever. But now that I actually have, I pay a little bit more attention. I've been going to tutoring. I'm like, oh. So I feel better about that, and I'm going to continue. That's my personal goal, is to just make it through high school.
Yeah.
And of course, focus, the subject that I love the most, of course, is writing, and
Sure.
so I feel like since I started writing music a little bit more, and I've been sharing that with my English teacher, she's liked it. She thinks I've got potential. So just overall, I just think it's going to be best if I want to graduate. And I want to graduate.
Yeah.
I want to graduate with my friends. I don't want to be held back a grade. It's just stupid.
And you think that you're on the path for that, to reach that goal?
Yeah, I'm thinking ahead too. Like, me and my mom have been thinking about like music schools afterwards.
Oh, wonderful.
I'd like to, but it's kind of expensive to get lessons, like $25 per lesson.
Okay.
But I'm gonna see if I can get back my job.
Okay.
To get some more sessions in there, but I'd like to go to this one it's called School of Rock.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Yes, I've heard of it.
And just kind of start there maybe, and then apply to some major universities after that.
Very good.
There's a lot of universities that have great music departments.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how I feel about band stuff, but I don't know. We'll see.
You'll see. Yeah, and I think that's the great part, is that you're in high school and you're 16 and you have time to figure it out. And so there's no pressure to know where you want to go and how you're going to get there, but you know that as you set goals that you have the tools that you've mentioned. You've got resources to go out, like depending on your mom and organizing with her. Like you said, you have considered like working again to kind of help with the financial things. So it sounds like in this process you've kind of picked up realizing that there are other resources outside of our relationship, but also outside of yourself that you can use to reach those goals. And I think it's just wonderful. I'm to continue hearing the positive, upbeat goals and outlook on life is really it's really wonderful to hear at this point with you. So the other thing that we haven't really worked on, and again you weren't really ready to, was as far as your goals, was kind of to share with your parents, what your sexuality was. What do you think that you can do so that as you get closer to feeling like that's a direct goal that you want to focus on, like how can you reach that as you move forward?
Well, I've shared with my best friend, so that's been helpful. And then my best friend brought me like some group, like this teen group, gay group. And I found out there's another gay group for my parents, but I don't know about them there. But she was telling me about this place, and so we were gonna go to the mall on Saturday. I don't know, and go check it out.
Okay.
But I don't know. I thought that might be helpful in just kind of learning. Right now, I just feel like because I just know my dad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you know him better, sure.
I don't want to disappoint him, but I don't know what else to do but not tell him. And maybe when I become older and get my own place,
maybe.
I don't know, because I have to live with this man.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. So that's that's my plan moving forward for now.
And I think it's a good plan because I think that you kind of alleviate the pressure of making this something that you have to focus on now. You realize that it is something that at some point you would like to share with both your parents, but especially, you know, your dad, and even though you're concerned about how he still will take it. And I think that taking in consideration that there are things that you can do to kind of prepare yourself and figure out ways that other people have dealt with, you know, these circumstances, I think, again, shows a lot of strength in your creativity and your imagination about, this is something eventually I want to do, but I don't have to figure it out on my own. People have already done this. They've already built this, you know, path for me, and I can kind of pick it and go as I choose to utilize those same things. So I think that it's wonderful that you are still looking to how other people have kind of done this. So I think it's, again, Alex, I can't say it enough, but I'm super proud of all the things that you've
Thanks.
accomplished at this point. So again, we're ending here, and so I'm curious to know, have you dealt with any endings before in your life that you can recall?
Well, I've had like some, like when I was in junior high, like some friendships end, and some of them were good and some of them were bad.
Okay.
That's all I could think of. And then my grandmother passing, but that was a more permanent kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I've never had an ending where I knew that I could see the person again.
Sure.
I guess.
Okay.
I've never had that before.
Okay. I want to make it clear, obviously, that the organization that I'm with, you know, we're going to be here, whether or not I continue to stay involved long term, because who knows, you know, where we're both going to go. My intent is at this point to stay here, but you know, you have an outlet. If you get to a point where you feel like you need some extra support, or you you know, are faced with an obstacle that you feel like you just don't have the tools to use, you have the ability to reach back out to the organization and let them know that you're in need of some additional support. So you're right. You're not alone in this. Whether or not we'll get connected, I can't promise you that, because it just kind of works out sometimes. You can always mention that you've worked with me before, and maybe that would help. But I definitely don't want to leave here letting you feel that, you know, our meetings could continue if you really, you know, if you were reaching out for help again. But you're right that there are resources that you can still use. But when you ended these friendships in the past, some good, some bad, what do you think made the difference between the good and the bad?
As far as the ending?
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, with the friends that where it ended well is we, like a particular girlfriend was moving, and she wasn't going to come to the same high school. She was moving, and she had a party at her house, and I went to the party, and I got to say goodbye, and that felt good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and we kind of keep in touch here and there, but
Sure.
I mean, I haven't seen her
In a long time.
So.
Okay. So it's kind of having the opportunity to say goodbye seems like it really helps you in processing through kind of the ending of a relationship.
Mm.
Okay. Well, obviously we get to say goodbye here, so I'm hoping that that will help continue developing positive endings for you, because that's what this is. It's not us ending because something has gone wrong. It's because we set out some goals. You were having some things that you needed to talk about, set out some goals, and you were able to reach those goals and really become really successful at learning how to set those goals up and obtain them as you go along. Again, while our contact ends and there's not a guarantee that we'll get to work together, I want to make sure that you understand that if you, while I think that you have the tools that you need to deal with things that come your way, if you find that you just need the additional support, again, please make sure that you do call the agency and we can get set up. Other than that, I think that you're ready to go. I think that you're ready to face this next couple of years in this journey. I think that you have the tools in your belt and ready to go. And I've really thoroughly enjoyed working with you, Alex. I think that you have inspired me to stay positive in my own life, because you just exude that positivity. So I think that it's really wonderful. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, not at this time.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm going to let you go back to what you were doing. And again, I've really enjoyed working with you, Alex, and I hope at some point our paths cross again, okay?
Me too.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.